Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So it's a nice Sunday morning and I thought it'd be a good time to record some videos for my next review series. I picked baked salmon because salmon's really healthy. Baked salmon is also easy to cook because all you do is prep the salmon and you stick in the oven. So it's something that pretty much anybody can make following a recipe without any difficulties. And I just think it's like such a great beginner recipe to learn. I'm going to do three recipe reviews, and I just really love baked salmon. I pretty much eat it like once a week at least, if not twice or three times a week. So, all right, this first video is going to review a recipe from Kitchen Sanctuary. It's a honey garlic butter baked salmon recipe. The reason why I picked this recipe as my first recipe is look at the prep time and cook time, right? The prep time it says 5 minutes and the cook time's 15 minutes. And since it's only cooking in the oven, you're basically only really actively cooking for 5 minutes, which is insane. Like, I think this is going to be really high in cookability, but let's get what the recipe actually entails. So let's see. We got four salmon fillets, okay, and eight other ingredients that are basically garnish or seasoning. Really simple. I don't think any of these ingredients you would have to go out of your way to get. You can probably get them at any grocery store. So let's go to the instructions. All right, we're gonna be baking the salmon at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. So salmon fillets skinned down on a baking tray lined with obviously aluminum foil so that it doesn't like burn and stick to the tray. The other steps are really, it looks like just mixing um, melted butter with honey, garlic, and the spices, putting that on the salmon, putting lemon wedges on the salmon, and baking it in the oven. Now, there is this additional step here I'm looking at that says in the middle of the baking, you have to take it out and rebaste the salmon. So we will do that and see how that works out. But yeah, that's basically it for this recipe.
Look at that fat salmon. $22 for this massive chunk. Now you might think $22 is expensive, but it's actually a pretty good deal because this thing is so big that I could probably cut this into, I want to say about 5 pieces, and each piece would be the size that you could get, if you were to go outside at a restaurant and buy salmon. So really 5 times 9, right? Each piece would cost $9 about outside. So 5 times 9 is $45. So this is actually like half the price of you eating out for the same amount of salmon. So this is huge value. All right. Aside from the salmon, we have all the ingredients that would be needed to make the toppings or the sauce that we will baste the salmon in. So obviously we're gonna melt the butter and then we're just gonna add all these spices, the garlic and the honey in the proportions described in the recipe. And finally, we're gonna top it off with lemon wedges. I really like this recipe. I love all oven-based recipes, but I especially like this type of recipe where I basically don't really have to do anything other than mix the sauces together and then cover the salmon. The oven will do everything else. So um, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put everything together and then show you how it looks like right before I pop into the oven. I've got everything prepared in this baking pan. This is a really convenient baking pan. It fits that entire huge salmon. Now I must say I did have to do a little bit of shape manipulation. I played a little bit of Tetris to get all the fillets fitting snugly in this pan. I also cut up the lemon wedges and had to divide it evenly on top. So that took a little bit of time, but it was pretty easy. The sauce, one, I guess not a pro tip, but an amateur tip is when you're melting butter in the microwave, it's actually smarter to divide the time that you're melting the butter. So what I did was I just put in 45 seconds and at the very end there was like a pop and the butter splashed all over the microwave. So it's probably smarter to do like 20 seconds and then 20 seconds. So yeah, just an amateur tip for melting butter. Anyways, the recipe does say that when I put this into the oven, you can see the oven is preheated to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. We're gonna let it run for 8 minutes, and then we're gonna have to actually take it out and rebaste the salmon. So we have to spoon the sauce back on top of the salmon. I guess that's, to make it more flavorful. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna go and put this in the oven now. Just go ahead and open it. I'm just gonna put in that middle rack because I don't want the top to be burnt. And I think the recipe said to put it in the middle rack anyways. So we'll set this to 8 minutes. We are basting. So I temporarily took it out. And yeah, this is pretty annoying to do. There's not really that much sauce on the bottom. So I'm like holding the camera with one hand. That's why this ain't going too well. And actually, let me switch spoons. Yeah, so there's a little bit of sauce that we could like scoop up and add back on top, but overall, I think I kind of filled out the pan so much that really the sauce didn't, I don't think the sauce really dripped that much. So yeah, I'm gonna finish rebasting this and I'll put it back in the oven. It's done. It looks delicious, but does it taste delicious? We are going to find out. All right. Oh yeah. All right, so what I realized is the sauce just kind of slid off. So you do kind of have to like dip it in the sauce for it to taste better. When you dip in the sauce, it tastes amazing. Like, I want to say a 9 out of 10. So I think I'm gonna give the taste an 8 out of 10 though, because even with the sauce, I felt like it was a little bit bland. So you can definitely taste the honey, the garlic, the butter. But I think the spices, I followed the recipe and I don't think that the spices, there was enough of the spices. So there was, the flavor was like a little bland. So I would say if you're gonna do the recipe, go ahead and add a little bit more of salt and pepper and paprika because I did about like a third teaspoon because I had 5 fillets instead of 4, but the recipe was recommending a quarter teaspoon for 4 fillets. So I definitely felt like that was enough. So for a taste, I'm just gonna give it an 8. Although with the sauce, it's pretty good. It's almost a 9. This might sound, kind of cheating, but I really love oven-based recipes just because I don't even consider the cooking time in the oven as cooking time because you're not doing anything, right? You're just chilling. So really the cookability for all oven-based recipes is just the prep work before it goes into the oven. And for this recipe, you saw that I barely had to do anything, right? I just cut up the salmon, cut up the lemon, and just put all this, put the sauce together and put it on top of the salmon. The only step that was kind of annoying, the mid part of the baking where I had to take it out of the oven and rebaste it, which, no cap, that didn't do anything because the sauce just slid back right off. So, if that step wasn't included, which I felt that didn't do anything, this would have been a 10. But because of that step, I'm just gonna downgrade the cookability to a 9. So you have a taste at 8 and the cookability at 9. So that's an overall 8.5. Now, what I have a question for, an inquiry, if you will, is instead of that basting part in the middle where I have to take it out of the oven, put it back in, which is kind of annoying because the oven then cools down a little, right? What if I just make some cuts in the salmon, right, before it goes in the oven, and we pour some of the sauce in there? That way, like, it doesn't just slide off of the salmon, right? And maybe overall the flavor gets absorbed better while it's cooking in the oven. So that's just a question I have. I don't know if that would have made it better. So yeah, but overall 8.5, it's pretty damn good and I highly recommend it.